Although the Buddha stories predate modern times, they constantly deal with human emotions. They still serve as our leaders because of this. This explains the enormous popularity of the Gautam Buddha story in English. Because of this, we have selected for you today a well-known Buddha tale by the name of Who Hurts Us. Everyone's karma is touched by the tale. Mahatma Buddha spoke to a village audience. He concluded by saying, attaching oneself to someone is the cause of human sorrow. Wherever there is attachment or bondage, sadness naturally occurs. Therefore, be aware of your bonds and work to escape them. He then gave everyone a blessing before departing for his ashram. The following day, someone made him a visit. I heard your sermon yesterday, Mahatma, he remarked, bowing to Buddha. My heart has been touched by your words. I have broken my ties and given up all ties. Now I want to come to your shelter. When the speaker was finished, Buddha grinned and softly asked, tell me in detail, whose bondage have you broken and whose attachment have you renounced? I have my wife and old parents at home, the person said. I also have a child. Very ill is my wife. When I saw him in pain, I used to frequently believe that his agony would end if he passed away. That makes me feel really sad. But yesterday, after hearing your speech, I realized that the source of my sadness stems from my connection to my family. I will never be able to discover the truth if I let myself get caught up in it. I left my home to come to you for this reason. The Buddha asked, have you really become free from all bondage? See if any bondage has left behind you. The man said, no, Lord. I have left behind everything in my life, and now I want to move forward. If that is the case, then anything is okay, the Buddha stated. You are residing in the ashram right now. I will let you know what you need to do tomorrow. Buddha indicated a disciple by pointing. He was brought to the ashram's guest room by the disciples. The man kept a close eye on the ashram's activities. When he finally saw them, he was pleased and continued to feel fortunate. The next day, the Buddha assigned a task to the man and said, you have to go on in the east. There you will find a village. There is a Sadhika's house just outside the village. She will give you something. You have to come back to me with him. The person walked towards the east. It was summer. In no time he was drenched in sweat. He also started feeling thirsty. He started thinking that if I was at my house at this time, I would not have to sweat like this in the heat. After walking some distance, he also started feeling hungry. But it was a deserted and barren road. There was neither any tree nor puddle pond around. He started thinking again that if I would have been at home at this time, I would have been eating delicious food made by my wife. Don't know why Buddha sent me so far in the heat. The person finally arrived in the village after a lengthy journey. A house was constructed not far from the village. He walked up to the door and gently knocked it. A monk opened the door. There was a wonderful radiance on his face. The person was mesmerized to see her. The Sadhika greeted him and said, I know you have been sent by the Buddha. You come inside. The person went inside the house. At the behest of Sadhika, he washed his hands and face with water and set a mat. Sadhika put a plate of food in front of him. He started eating quickly. Suddenly, that person's eyes fell on the feet of the seeker. His feet were very beautiful. He just kept looking at that. That's why Sadhika distracted his attention. She said, "The person who finds a place at Buddha's feet, then he does not need anyone else's feet." The person was ashamed after listening to the Sadhika and started eating silently by lowering his eyes. After having food, Sadhika said, "You have come from far away. You must be tired. Lie down here on the mat. I will fan you." The man was tired. He relaxed on the mat and went to sleep. Sadhika began to fan him. However, despite lying down, that person did not feel any relief. The seeker was met with thief eyes as he gradually opened his eyelids. He started thinking how beautiful this woman is. His voice is so charming. If this was my wife, my life would become heaven. Sadhika understood his mind. She said, "Nothing is kept in the body. It is just a combination of flesh, marrow, and bones. The person who becomes free from its attraction, only he can attain the truth." After hearing this, the person became frightened. "Now I must go to Buddha," he remarked as he stood up from the mat. "Please give me what the Buddha requested." The Sadhika replied with a smile, "The task for which the Buddha sent you has been completed." That person did not understand what Sadhika was trying to say. He walked over the door. When he finally arrived at the door, he paused for a moment and asking, "Are you Antarjami? How did you get inside my mind?" The woman said with a smile, "By the grace of Buddha, I have risen above all illusion. That's why I am detached from emotions, and by looking at someone's face, I understand the thought arising in his mind." After listening to her words, the person was once again ashamed and started thinking that, "What I keep thinking after the woman who had honored me with a true heart." He then went back to the monastery of Buddha. After reaching the ashram, the man fell at the feet of the Buddha and said, "Mahatman, please forgive me. I am a great sinner." After listening to her, the Buddha smiled and said, "That is why I sent you to the Sadhika, so that you can see yourself. Now tell me, have you really given up attachment and bondage?" The person remained silent. His eyes were turned downwards as he stood still. Buddha said, "By giving up external bondage and attachment, we do not become free from bondage. Actually, bondage and attachment are within us. You left the family and thought I was free. But as soon as you got the opportunity, your inner fascination woke up. And that is why today you are considering yourself as a sinner. Please forgive me, Lord." That person folded his hands. Then he said softly, "You are right. I just wanted to get rid of my wife. She is very ill. We could not even establish relations for 1 year. I don't even earn much. That's why I am not able to discharge my family responsibilities properly. Maybe that's why I wanted to leave my family. But now I realize that there are my truth and that my real responsibility is to take care of them." Buddha said, "Whatever I say, I speak on the basis of my experience. People pay attention to that, what I say, but they interrupt in their own selfish ways. People look outside in quest of attachment, illusions, desire, lust, and fury because of this. While it is within of us, when we see others, we begin to have various desires. Anger develops when lust is not satisfied, because desire and lust all originate from desire. These all are connected to one another. we always blame others to our anger, whereas the source of anger is within us. If you wish, then anger will come. If you wish, then anger will not come. Similar to this, bonds only exist in our minds. They do not exist outside. Our mind causes us to become emotionally attached to people, and this causes us to suffer. However, the individual who achieves the depth of these things is forever set free from sadness. Friends, we hope that you have liked this story of Gautam Buddha's story, who and how hurts us. How did you guys like this story? Do tell us by commenting below. Thanks for watching. Be smiling.